Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Do you need an intermediary between the sun and the earth to tell what the earth needs to do and to put the sun in a position of work with earth? Does the sun negotiate, talk to someone to teach earth how to rotate, how to move, how to become that emotion of being earth? Or, as now it has the control and understanding of its physical structure, it communicates with it direct, with the understanding of other fields and the environment. So the soul of the solar system, the sun, we call it the soul in the body of the man, does not need any intermediaries. As it interacts now, it has its dimension, it has its parameters, and it works. The biggest question now for you as a human race is this. If you understood this, that the sun and the solar system and the interplanetary system, and it does not need any intermediary negotiators, how do you as human race allow mullahs and ayatollahs to tell you how to feel between your soul and the solar physicality and your physical life, when now you understand you're responsible for it? This brings an end to abuse of religions, if you understand the principle of the knowledge. Why do we need to interrupt the physicality within the soul for it to conduct good, where we allow it to abuse when the physicality takes over the soul or engages the soul? This brings us a lot of understanding. This brings an end to the religions. This brings an end into the abuse in the name of the Creator, that not even single ray of the lights of the cosmic lights, universal lights or rays of the Creator ever reached Ayatollah Khamenei. How can he claim to be of it? The same with the Vatican. I put my life at risk, but I've been here for thousands of years. I just changed the flag. And we'll get you. The challenge was that the protector of the faith, the protector of the God's will, the God is here. Answer to it, otherwise it will never end. The God is amalgamation of the souls of the humanity. This is a call for all the religions to end. A new challenge will show, will stand. My direct call goes to those who are set in Iran to protect the return of Mahdi. He has arrived. This arm. It's your own soul. You have to walk away with it. Now, when the Creator hasn't got intermediaries, but the people who inform of the knowledge, He does not intermediaries in the name of the mullahs, ayatollahs, Vaticans with the report of abuse, Jerusalem priests and what we call rabbis with the misleading of the conflict between the two nations and what they call one nation of Palestine. The same goes to the what we call Buddhist and the rest of it. Religions become what? When man understands religions means the conduct of the soul and not a way to what I call put it through is the phases of abuse. If you understand this process, if you understand how you can connect and how you are connected like the earth to the sun without intermediaries, then you should understand there is a bigger scale of work. The universe, the universe, and other levels in between which man is not aware of, and finally the totality of the covenant from this end by knowledge. And our job is to come to and go back. To you, the cycle of coming and going back to maybe 50 or 80 years. To us is billions of years. We have plenty of time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, August 28th, 2025. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of ongoing workshops. And once again, we have Mr. Mehran Keshe as our main presenter and teacher here today. And I believe he's ready to engage into another workshop here. Please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Today's knowledge sharing is very interesting because, as usual, coincidentally, totally by coincidence, Rick chose an intro which I was going to bring something for your attention that you don't need intermediaries, where it can be connected to the knowledge and the light of the knowledge, or what they call enlightenment, and how you, through the connection, get touched with. You change people, you bring things in. I received a very interesting request, very unusual, from one of the knowledge seekers, which was interesting for me when I received it, and was more interesting when I researched it to look into the data which was asked, or a very simple question came from a knowledge seeker.
Recording in progress.
Which it was very simple, but very profound. And in a way, was very interesting for me to understand in a deeper way our connection. I've deleted the parts, but you can read it. It says, "Hello, Mr. Keshe. I hope you are very well. I was curious to know what change happened in the graph when I talked, God bless you." She came in one of the teachings, asked a question, and curiosity, as we all are, brought the question, what happened? Within minutes, I went back on the data because everything is recorded. Most of the things are recorded. And look how precise we are, and how the technology advances, and how you don't need intermediaries in a way, but you understand at the end of it what will come. The lady came in and put a question. This is the lady. This is the graph which all you see, because there is no connection when you have individual participants. This is a usual graph all of you are familiar with, and she is just data physicality below the line, and you can see. Interesting. We don't see the rest of the rigmas we usually see on the top and the bottom and everywhere else. This is when I get involved in listening to her. The bottom one is still her. The second one is when I engage. It's a dimension of, it's like your physicality and the soul of physicality, to understand what the question is, what is the answer. And if you go back, because we have the time, the minutes which this happened, so you have a soul, a dimension of physicality, a voice, listen to. An interesting part is this: when the answers start coming, you see the dimension of the soul suddenly comes in. There are hundreds of you listening, because this is between 1 to 1 in the dimension of interaction of the soul. This is nobody else, directly from the physicality to the soul. And the soul answers. You see the dots, you see the connections. The answer is the soul. If you remember what we came last time, we explained, it comes directly above nothing. It comes from the source. But interesting part is, when the answer is given and all of you are listening, and it's the cycle of the time of answering the question, now you see what happens. Your souls, the knowledge, the enlightenment comes into operation. Now you see lines on the horizon where there was nothing. This is the soul, and this is in a way, the physicality. Now that the soul of physicality, which is a connection of the combination of the information, enlightenment the body has received, the individual has received. And the funny thing is, when you analyze this picture, then you see totally different thing, which is, if you look, I'll put it marked in 1 and 2. This is, as you see here, the soul of the person, enlightenment. And then you see the soul of the creator, the knowledge, the enlightenment. So in this process, we see how a number of things in different directions, how the technology is developed, how precise our system can become, that we can even track you to the person, to the interaction, to connection with the soul of the creator to get the knowledge, and in a way enlighten the others, because once that shared in the dimension of soul of physicality, as you see here, it becomes a common knowledge. And you see it very clearly how the process works. To you, this is pictures, individual pictures. Start with a dot, question asked, question listened to, where the soul interacts to understand, to give answer from the, what we call from the source, from the creator, from dimension of the creation. And then you see the engagement, how the soul of the creator comes in, and then how the soul of the person lights up, enlightens. And when that enlightenment comes, you all get enlightened, because now it's at the level of the humanity that it can be shared by and through what we call the human race. To use dots and bots. But now have a look at something else. Rick, you received a video. Could you play that video for us, please? What you see in this video is from more or less immediately after the first question asked and enlightenment comes in. Just watch how the response comes of the dimension of creation and how enlightenment takes place. This is a live video of that part that you see. Just watch. This is about a minute. And you see how it takes shape. Information from the soul, because it's a pure question asked. You see the interaction. And then just watch how it connects to the soul of the creation, which means downloading information, receiving information for what is asked, and just watch how it happens. This is a live session taken thousands of kilometers apart. One in France, one in a part of the world, system in another part of the world. Let's see how it comes in light. Just watch. Now you see the soul of the person getting enlightened. See how it takes shape. And that goes back and enlightens the soul of physicality of the totality, because all of you are in it. Now the knowledge. This is how the teaching of the universe is done. This is how the dimension of creation brings a new way of teaching. And now you've seen it. This is a system which operates, and now you see how it's made. more or less these kind of images, if you remember, is something common you always see when we share with you. Now you see in real time the question, in being sincere, in sharing, and then receiving the knowledge from dimension of universal knowledge. This is why I always tell you, when humanity matures, you can tap into the knowledge of the creation and the creator. And you see it physically done. This was not intentional. We have a lot of recordings like this. Even the sessions we spend on Fridays once a month, we collect some of these. And this is exactly what happened during a question answer. Everything else, when the question was asked, was deleted from the system because attention is to one. And if you play it once more, Rick, you can see every time you ask a question, how the knowledge is received and how the knowledge is shared. Just watch. This is recorded to the second. And knowledge understood, enlightened, and now links up to about to universal knowledge, to the soul of the creator. And then you see how knowledge comes and enlightens the soul of the person. Now it's not anymore in the dimension of physicality, but in the dimension of energy, what we call the soul of creation. And then once the soul is enlightened, you see it shares with the soul of physicality in the totality of the dimension, which means every one of you, through the dimension of your soul, have been enlightened by the knowledge. Because the dimension of soul of physicality belongs to the man. This is when you share knowledge in the dimension of emotion. And now you see how clearly the lines are created. This brings us back again to the essence of time. And how long does it take for us? What time do we need to connect with our Creator? Is there a need for prophets? Is there a need for those in the name of prophet abuse for their own physical profit? Where, in a way, as teachers, we are there to guide, but we know the path to the Creator, to tap into universal knowledge, to tap in to understand what is to share. This is literally what we call a teacher teaching. But knowing, instead of going to the library of man, goes to the library of the universe, to the Creator, and the dimension of creation. And all those little whites you see in the dimension of the soul, it's very simple. These are different dimensions of enlightenment which come in to see it. Because questions are understood, translated from the knowledge of the creation to the voice of the man, and then you see the enlightenment of the soul. Same position. This is how a universal teacher teaches. We are not prophets, but we know which books is hidden, what knowledge is hidden in which part of the universe to tap on instantaneously, faster than the computers of today. What is interesting is if you listen to the duration of this question and the answers, you'll be amazed what the question was and what the answer was and how the knowledge was shared. But it's the time the time is taken to start one dot, to connect to the creators and knowledge of the universe and share amongst them. Do we need problems when one man can access so the others? This is from the teachings of last week, and this is how it sits. Then the question comes back again. What is time? If a teacher can connect to the universal knowledge in such a short time, instantaneously, why mankind needs so much time to make so much mistakes and so much pain and suffering, where it can reach that point by itself. But the very interesting thing is, if you look at this picture, it should come home something very, very interesting. And that is, if you look, I made man in the image of myself. So, in essence, we are connected. We are a reflection of the energy dimension of the knowledge and the love of the Creator. It's not the non-religion and does not mean nothing. It's understanding the process of the creation. Doesn't need time. Or man has taken too much time, thousands of years, to come to the point of understanding the process of the creation. When you look at these graphs, which we continue to get, even today, there are a bunch of graphs generated from in how you as knowledge seekers are interacting with us with the knowledge gain, and then move forward to the next step. Our team in the background continuously monitors how you individuals or groups or people who are here receiving the information, digesting the information, interacting with the information get by enlightenment of the light. This is very clear when we say, I'm enlightened. In a way, enlightened, you can see it. It's a real light. For the first time, man can see his connection, personal, in gaining knowledge with his Creator. We are just the tools. We know where the thing is for you to connect with the dimension of the knowledge of the universe. And this needs to be taught. This needs for man to be taught step by step. And we see this kind of changes in most of the systems which is getting developed, and it'll be part of the structure. As I said to a knowledge seeker, there is some 14,000 satellites today rotating around this planet. Military, information, and every other type. And they all have to be fired up to connect somewhere on the top. Man never looked within to understand. And for the first time, when you knowledge seekers receive these units, we work within. We don't need to look above, because through these systems, which is getting, many of you are buying it to be spread around this planet, once the numbers are reached and connections are made, then we connect the soul of the man to the soul of the planet, which then, as you've seen on this picture, connects to the soul of the Creator. In a way, we bring the satellite, bring the soul of the man to be connected by every dimension of it. Because these units, which then, when you receive it, they'll come in two packages. Once you receive the unit, you plug it on, you connect it. One, then you receive another piece, which you just attach it to. This part, the first part, which you receive connected to electricity, connects to the dimension of physicality. The antenna you receive in connection with the other antennas collectively creates a ground level satellite, which every man is at that level and can reach, get, receive, enlighten. You don't need to be, in a way, send message down. The message comes from within up. It's a new time and it's a new change. And this process will bring very much, instead of us having one unit in one place and you seeing these images, the knowledge will be spread across humanity instantaneously. Any of you reach a knowledge, it will be shared amongst all of you instantaneously, because now we are all connected to this mesh. This is the purpose of putting these units and creating this dimension. One is the level of you can handle your knowledge, information, teachings, and on the other hand, connecting to the soul of the creation. There will be no difference in understanding this. And in a way, the way we made it, it's all connected to each other. Nobody can break in, nobody can copy, because it's very easy. It doesn't come from us, connected to our system that everybody else is connected to it. Out of the 10,000 units, you buy it as another computer on the table. With that, we're just bringing in this system, this technology in, we bring a new dimension of time. We can feed you directly. Let's say there is a crisis with what we had real this time with viruses. Through our central system, through our connection, we can create a condition of the field, the strength of the virus, that nobody gets infected. This is not dreams anymore. You're buying the units, and with it will come the technology, which over time, as it gets more perfected, will deliver this. There's a drought in a part of the planet which there is a hunger. Through the same system, because you're all connected, we feed. You're on planet Mars or on planet Zeus, and you have a connection with the system. You're fed, you're looked after, you're part of the system, even does not matter where you take it. Now you understand the purpose and the way we create a new time, new lifeline, new dimension in the process of understanding the totality. We use man-made advantages in technology to bring forward the knowledge and the process of the creation of the creator. This is going to be a wonderful time. In the next few months and years, we were excited with computers, we were excited with AI. Now we'll be interested and excited with the knowledge of the creation, where we tap into. There is no need for, and then there is no need for patent, because the minute we are enlightened, as you've seen in these pictures, we share amongst the humanity and the rest of the universe. What this planet was short to change the man in the magnetic field, in the plasmatic field, to stop the man killing, with this technology, with this system spread across this planet, we add to, we change. We bring man to become a peaceful man, because the systems, as you see, touches you in the soul. Then you understand the time for change has come. And you lot have no time to waste. It's a time to enjoy. It's time to bring the change. And The faster we can spread this across, the faster we can bring an end, because now we take steps to do it. We don't look at how, we look at in a way planet hasn't provided it. There is a shortage, we change the behavior. Then with this, with addition what we put in, like the test we do with you, like tomorrow as the participants in the what we call the monthly sessions, we change you in energy. We change you in the dimension of understanding and enlightenment. And what will be interesting for us to see is that how you people, even in the session of today, change. What have you received? What is the process and how much we're going to see changes? And to what level we as knowledge seekers are there to bring the change, to enlighten the solar physicality of the man that allows man to become another person, another creation, another understanding, where the balance is within the spirit of the man, interaction of the fields of the body of the man and the soul of the man, where physicality is irrelevant and we become immortal. In a way, we look for the fountain of youth, where through this, we only work through the soul of the man. Many of you will come to understand during the teaching how even your souls, in many dimensions, in certain points, changes, detached, because you understand the dimension of what you call the spirituality, where name comes from, spiritual, with the spirit. And then you see yourself in one way or another, mankind will be changed. And then we'll see how the changes will bring for us to understand more and more of ourselves. More about what we want, what we have, what we can put in. Will be interesting for you. Have a look. This is the state of you as people in this session, in how you are, in a way, interacting with the teachings, learning to the dimension of the soul of physicality, learning to the dimension of the interaction with the fields, then learning knowledge through what we call physicality, the brain of the man. It is interesting, and how these images are created, that it gives us the opportunity to, in a way, teach you about yourself, teach you about how you react. In a way, I want to show you something that you all understand. When we tell you, you are involved at the level of what I call the spirituality, in the spirit, in the way you're learning the knowledge at this moment, all of you, through the dimension of the soul, of the physicality, and not in any dimension, but through the soul of what you have, what you share. Look at this. The green is the soul, as all of you will know by now. Totally detached, above the physicality, above the soul of physicality, which means the soul feeds. It has risen the spirit of the man, the knowledge of creation, and you see it here. No connection, but see how solid you become. Which means if you look, if you understand the system, which I hope you do, you're all learning through energy fields. There's no physicality when you tapped into the knowledge of the creation. You're all lightened up. This line is you collectively in receiving the knowledge. Look at it. No deviation. You become perfect. You're learning how to become one. Connection to the what we call fields of energy, the soul of physicality, which what we call the spirit, in absorbing the information, gaining knowledge, detaching from physicality. And how would you be enlightened? How would this change for you in the future? And then you say something was changing in me. Because you received that. When you need it, is for you to change, to bring that change, to be enlightened with the totality of the system. That system is you. Physical dimension of energy of the physical structure, and the dimension of the energy connected to the soul of the universe, to the knowledge, the enlightenment. So next time when you are with us, remember we are monitoring, we are looking what changes has come, what changes is brought to you in the dimension of totality, and how you receive the knowledge. And in a way, when you look at these, it goes back to what I always said. When we teach, we don't teach for one man. We teach that the knowledge is shared by the whole universe, because there's a dimension of the energy, dimension of field of the soul of the creation. Man uses the internet like this to physically, publicly teach thousands of you on the line. And the man who understands teaches the same knowledge through the soul of the creator, sharing with all created things through the universal network with all the soul existing. And now you understand how we share, how we bring the change. Enlightenment of the soul, enlightenment of the physicality, knowledge to understand is a cornerstone of man to become a man of universal community, where universe will learn from mankind. Then up to now, mankind always looks in the skies, looking at the UFOs and the others, where they bring us the knowledge. Man will take the knowledge of creation to the universe as you become those teachers. But tell your soul, do not make the mistake of the souls who became the soul of the prophets on this planet, to abuse it for their own advantage. Today's teaching is amazing, and it is fundamental for you for the first time to see. It's you. It's you who asked the question. And in how you're asking the question, the rest, the soul of physicality, the soul of the man, confirming with the others, have been shared the knowledge. Then you understand there's no need for pattern, because the minute I know how it works, the rest are enlightened too. It's just that they need to understand how that makes it. We go for a break and we come back, and hopefully we share with you some more knowledge than all of the creation. If you like to take us for a break, and we come back.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, let me get shared up here. Okay, this will be a break before the second part of the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, August 28th. And as usual, in the second half, we'll have an opportunity to ask questions of Mr. Keshe. And those in our Zoom can put up their, attendees can put up their virtual hand, and then we can allow your microphone to open, and you can ask a question. And also you can post questions in the chat or the Q&A in Zoom or on the YouTube. Okay, we'll be back shortly.
Water is the foundation of our life. It is part of every living creature. Pure water gives you the energy of nature. Now you can have this energy in your home. The Keshe Foundation Alkalizer and Energizer is designed for your daily well-being. It increases the pH of the water so your body can absorb more oxygen and stay in its natural condition during the day. Keshe Foundation Alkalizer and Energizer. Be pure like the water.
Okay, we are back again at the 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And as I mentioned, it's the second half, and we will have an opportunity to ask questions. And before that, Mr. Keshe always has something to say about current events or current knowledge. So please go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. As you can see there, what we call the Keshe coins, there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of questions raising by knowledge seekers and others regarding these coins. These coins are internal Keshe Foundation coins. They are not, at this moment, exchangeable in the market, and only tradable, exchangeable with cash production goods. And a lot of people tell us, can we cash this when we get for our system? We don't pay cash. You get coin added to your accounts of the cash card. If you know, Bitcoins is addition to the coins. When in the very near future, hopefully, we bring the coins into the different dimension of works, then you can decide what you want to do with it. But this is at the same time a coin for the games, which another dimension of the work, and it's only structured for the work within the Keshe Foundation at this one time. But you have to understand what the plan of the Keshe Foundation is in the coming time as an international organization, manufacturing, producing, as we now structuring gradually to go around the world. And everything can be done through it. In the very near future, in the next few months, we start giving cash coin as a wage payment for certain people within the organization structure of the Keshe Foundation, that they can buy products from the structure of the Keshe Foundation. It's the first time we're applying this, and we will see how it goes, which means passes the boundary of the governments. You don't need to buy dollar, you don't need to buy exchange rubles or whatever. You use the coin, and in the coming time, you will see this, the first steps of work for our, what you call knowledge seekers, is that if you're in one part of the world, you want to give something to mom and dad across another part of the world, they have access to what we call the structure of the Keshe Foundation. They can spend it within the structure. If you get to the shop, they won't give you anything, but gradually we'll change this to come. But at the moment, understand that your earning of the cash coins for those who buy machine at this moment of time is addition of the coin into your accounts, and then you pile it up to be used when we want to use it, when it opens up into what we call it free coins used within the structure of the Keshe Foundation for the members of the Keshe Foundation. But then you have a vast structure of the products and the services which we provide. I've been asked by our team to remind you that the number of Keshe Foundation resellers are increasing around the world now, gradually, step by step. And many people who already have a business, they run the business, or what we call the cash coins or cash technology materials, through these stores. Now we have in Germany, in Switzerland, in Austria, in Holland, and new feature is the Vietnam, hopefully become the resellers. And we try to support them, we try to bring them up to what we call position. This is the pictures coming from the cash store, reseller store in Switzerland. And you can see in Norris, because I'm spending a lot of what we call time and what we call actually a lot of effort to bring this in public, that you can shop the products of the Keshe Foundation around the world. Now we're looking for any of you who wants to be resellers. They make, I hope, a good turnover on what they do, and gradually these products increases as we produce these structures in the coming time, where we'll see the extension. This is what we call the cash store in Switzerland. We have the same in Austria, there is Germany, and Holland. And it's just you're asked to become a reseller, but you cannot sell any other products of any other, because we want to keep it the way it is. And it works for itself, and in a way it pays backwards. Many of you asking us about the cash coin, how it's going to be done. Cashcoin is going to be going through its tests and trials, and gradually, hopefully by end of September, we hope latest, the first 250 systems units will be sent across the planet to all people bought or you gave to be given as a gift to different institutions or universities or supporting the others. And then in January onwards, we add, once we find out all the pitfalls and everything else, the other ones. But those of you who want to play the games, what we call the enlightenment games, you need the card. You cannot get into the game without the card, or at least if you want to collect your, what we call the winnings, or what is saying, cash coins, to add to it. This process gradually will build up to a very, very advanced levels in the next 12 months, 2 years. Once we literally cover, we have started speaking to, we brought the subject with a couple of 2-3 governments to use the cash coins as a trade exchange, as there's a lot of things going on at the moment. And gradually, we hope we build it up to what it's supposed to be. If there are any questions, let me know, and we do our best to answer your questions. Actually, you got the addresses and locations of the cash stores around Europe at the moment on the screen.
Appears to be 4 different shops from Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and Netherlands.
We have, I think there's 1 or 2 coming up in Vietnam. And it's gradually structuring itself.
And if somebody would like to open a shop, what would be the procedure for them?
Oh, you have to get in touch with the Keshe Foundation, the Keshe Foundation, and set a company up. This is how what we're doing. All these people here have set a company inside their businesses that everything is sold and works under that, what they call it, structural Keshe Foundation goods.
Okay, great. Well, we have a hand up with Ilonka, and I think she's associated, perhaps. So
He
let's.
runs the Dutch shop, the store in Holland. Yep.
Yes, hello. Hi, Milonka. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for everything. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we hear you clearly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm on a different computer now. I just want to have another question. Here in the Netherlands, we have already sold about 24 notes and cards, and one in France and one in Hungary. And I was wondering, do you need more notes in the Netherlands? Do we?
Yes, as many as across the world. Yes.
Okay, because it's not too much in just this little country here.
No, it's just spreading the numbers that it cannot be hacked and it can become independent system.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
then, because we know when we give it a little push, then we can sell definitely more of them. So then we will continue.
Yeah. But if you look at it, we are about 150 nations, or what you call territories, something in that region. And if you divide to 10,000 by that, it's around about 70, 80 per nation minimum.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you have the places like United States, you have Chinese. Chinese are very slow responding. I don't know what they're doing. And then you have like Russia and the others, United States and Brazil and the rest. It needs to come in that we cover. And there's a lot of things which is just going to be added to to bring what we call, to achieve what we are planning to do. These become very much the center of if 1 or 2 or 10 or hundreds damage taken out or whatever, there's still another 9,000 something behind to keep the network going.
Well, thank you. That's great.
We are working on that direction. There are knowledge seekers who have bought or they have ordered or they plan to give donations or buy 50, 100 units that it goes to universities, it goes to where it can work. And then we spread that thing. We estimate it'll take us about a year to 2 years to fully put the 10,000 out. You have to understand it's not just us. All the systems have to be manufactured. From the unit side, it's not that problem. For creating the universal antennas is what it takes time. It's an elaborate job and it's not an easy thing. And then testing it and connecting it and the rest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This system, a lot of people ask about the cards. Without the cards, you cannot obtain the coins. So you need to buy the card. And it's on that card is like your bank card. It's like information about what you have and what you can use or spend through that card. Nobody can spend it. Nobody can use it. You have that card, all your data, what you have is in there. And we try to keep a track record in the system that if anything goes missing and is genuine, it can be replaced. And we're looking most probably in the coming time with what is available to be able to block the stolen cards or stolen coins. In a way, it's not worth doing it. In a way, we have structures that most probably doesn't matter if we decide numbers are not there. You cannot use it, doesn't matter how many of it you have stolen. We have a case, but let me explain to you why I look at this way. Originally, we have got different numbers, and then it came to different numbers. At the moment, if you're a head of a state, which a lot of heads of a state go in this direction, they get a lot of bribes. And usually these bribes, nowadays, when it's in a cash form, doesn't show, and it can be kept. And when it's in the larger scales, government intervene, and they do. One of the world presidents, when he was in power, he's dead now. They actually killed him. He stole in one part $80 billion from his nation in contracts, inflating the contracts. And then he took this money from euro in notes, in container, to use it for another job, because he used it for a job, became very successful, that cycle of stealing. And when this money, 80 billion, arrived in another nation, the European bank which issued it, they found out, and they canceled the numbers on the notes. They're just not even worth carrying the container because these notes cannot be spent. In a way, it's blocked. In a way, it does not exist. It's just a piece of paper which has no value as spending. And it's sitting there, I know, for about 8-10 years. We have, and we will set up a structure with this, that if anybody steals and we come across it, we replenish, and that money will come back in for spending on the others' need in a lot of ways. Hopefully after January, when all this is set up properly, I'll be traveling across the planet, as many places as we can do, to give these coins to the nations, to the leaders of the nations, as a trustee of the civil citizens. And then we explain how it works, and it just needs another maybe 4 or 5 months. We have to get there. Then it goes back to what we say. We back it with a coin. We back it with the profit. and then we back it with the material. And this is very interesting because I was talking to some government officials. They said, how is this going to work? I want the coin worth 1,000. I want gold for it. I said, we printed it's backed by gold. We are the only coin which is backed by gold when it becomes a commercial entity. But at the moment, it's just within the structure of the Keshe Foundation, and it's a game coin, in a way you call it. But there's a lot to be done, and hopefully I'm there to see it through, and it's the responsibility of knowledge is to make sure it goes through, because if the cornerstones of, in a way, peace, you will understand more and more it comes. You cannot make a nation peaceful if you don't set the nation the facilities for it to be there, to teach, for people to feel the peace, that the nation becomes peaceful. And you don't measure it by the measure of happiness, you measure it by the level of comfort and how people can spend more time to be enlightened or enlighten themselves and to be sharing more than actually working on. We'll see how it goes. But everything is on the plan, everything is going. This unit's our cornerstone of delivering that, because then we go into spreading, using these antennas, creating a satellite. As I said to one of the officials in the past few days, if you understand it, when you have a satellite, it's only good for the man who has a mobile. The way we have set up and the way this system will work, when the system with the 10,000 across this planet, hopefully some of it will go in the deepest oceans of this planet. I hope some knowledge seekers create that condition for it to be done. When we feed the man as an energy, we feed the cat, we feed the dog, we feed the lion, we feed the lamb. This is the change this technology is going to bring. This is the changes. Little units you think I'm buying, I get something from it, is set to do. We use the greed of the man, that he gets something for it, to bring that condition of the peace, because collectively we do it. So when it becomes operational, as you've seen in the pictures of today, one question brought the enlightenment, we use the same system to deliver energy to the body of the man. The lip of the man does not carry vitamin A, B, and C. The lip of the man carries a spectrum of the energies. And at a point when the body needs it, it changes to that material, to that cell. And it's the same. We deliver the energy. In the body of the man becomes the heart of the man. In the body of the lion becomes the heart of the lion. In the body of an ant becomes the heart of the ant. At the end, it works the same system to give a life going. And then when you deliver at a certain energy level, you make the man a peaceful man. It's not just a man. The lion will feel the same. So does the cat and the ant. This is how it's going to be. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, and maybe even sooner. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Again, I'll remind our attendees that you can raise your virtual hands and we can allow you to ask a question. See, Ike, you had a hand up earlier. Do you still wish to ask a question there, I wonder? And in the meantime, we'll go back to our Q&A. Just bear with me a minute here. There it is. Okay, we have a question from Goy Perluigi. Says, good morning, Rick. Good morning, Mr. Keshe. My question is, how can plasma technology cleanse homes when they're unhealthy due to dangerous energies along the Earth's surface, lead lines.
Repeat, please.
The question is, how can plasma technology cleanse homes when they're unhealthy due to dangerous energies along the Earth's surface? Lead lines, mercury, nickel, Hartmann fault lines, negative waterways, etc. Thank you.
The system is very easy. We work what I call with the fields, which are essence of the creation. It's very simple. I wonder how many of you can report to us how you felt, energy-wise, emotion-wise, in the session today. How has been the experience? And does it feel that any different than in the past 10 years we've listened? Today's setting with you lot in the background is a very special one. A very special one. We gone out deliberately to deliver certain characteristics, and we monitor how different this is compared to the past. In a way, we have concentrated energy of the soul of the man directly to the physicality of the man, to feed the physicality. And it seems from what we get, what we see, we are very successful with it. And I want to know how many of you will actually understand the change and how it will go. I'll show you what it means. As you're now, as knowledge seekers, getting used to these things, you understand it better than I do sometimes, I think, is this. Have a look. You've never seen this before. It's amazing what's coming up and how.
Recording in progress.
Have a look. This is collection of the energies which is transferred from the soul directly to the physicality. It is absolutely amazing what is coming if you understand the depth of what's going on. Trying to somehow not succeeding to get what I'm looking for. There we are. This is your graphs in past few minutes. Have you ever seen this before? Homogeneous transfer of fields, energies from the soul to physicality, and you can see how it is. This is you lot. And if you look at the bigger picture, it's not there. Directly feeding the soul up from the soul to the physicality. This is the purpose of the next step, especially tomorrow. We'll target this, that we only see in a way, this is what we have to do with you in the space. We give energy to your body and you feed the body through it. I want to see how we'll turn up by the end of the session. How, and if we can, in a way, deepen the energy in a way to see a one line right across the same. Bringing energy from the universe, transferring it, feeding the man with it, and allowing the man to feed this physicality with it. You see it? This is you in past few minutes. And let's see how it goes. Tomorrow, you lot will be a very, very beautiful shock. Tomorrow, we start the session at 9 o'clock. Central European time for 3 hours. I have received a notice. Some of you who bought the surprise packages, you will receive the tickets to be part of these sessions. Please use them in this month or next month, because we most probably stop these sessions unless something else happens to the structure of the foundation. We will change it to another process, but please, you receive these cards, what they call free attending these sessions as part of your surprise package. Use it to be part of these sessions in this month or next month if you can. Any other question?
Okay, very good. Thank you. Let me see. We've got a couple of questions. Yes. From Ike, who had his hand up, but he didn't have a microphone, so it didn't work out. It says, "Good morning, Mr. Keshe. I appreciate all your teaching. Here's my question. That initial ray, apparently a single ray and supposedly hydrogen, came out of somewhere. First question is where? Then it interacts with itself. Did that interaction create the environment? And is that environment part of the soul of physicality in a way?" So he actually says there's 3 questions here in a way. Should I repeat that?
No, it's just that trying to answer it in a way. You see, how the man creates the condition of the position, that he creates the place and the position which counts. In a body of the man, the central energy is in the center of the head, but that center is like getting pulled by another field, which is the center of the planet Earth. It gives us legs and arms. In the case of the planet Earth, the center is there, the physicality, the structure of the body of the planet is there, but where is the soul of physicality of the what do you call it, the planet? How does it manifest itself? We look at the totality of it in a way that the combination of gravitational magnetic fields, which in interaction, most probably the soul of physicality sits outside because he has to feed the inside to create changes inside. The inside is too volatile to be done, but the center is in the center. In the condition of the man is different. Everything is structured, we become dynamic in different ways. But what happens in the universe? You have 3 combinations and then billions of energy levels and billions of different places according to the field they create. So you get different planetary system, you get different creatures. It depends if the soul of physicality is inside, the soul of the man is inside, the interaction creates a body, but the soul of physicality is not there. Do we call it the atmosphere? Because it's dynamic, it shows the emotion of the planet and the rest of it. And where did it come from? It comes from the essence of the creation. And in a way, the physicality is a mirage of the fields of universe. And there is no reality into it. Even though we touch it, it's tangible to us. It's an interaction of many, many fields in the combination of the right strength, similar strength, interacting in a given form, creates a dog, the cat, the water, and the rest. But they all follow the same structure. follow the same structure. You have the soul of the man, you have the soul of physicality of the man, and you got the physicality of the man. You have the 3 layers of the skin. You have the 3 layers of the structure of the kidney, the liver, and everything else. Which one, in the shape or form of the soul of physicality, stays in the middle, which carries the emotion, as we see the middle layer of skin of the man. One stays outside, which is the physical, and one inside, which is the higher energy order, which decides what happens above, which means it's the soul's delivery of her energy. The whole universe is based on this. Does not matter what you look at. Atom, body of the man, the planet, and the rest. But all comes from the original one field, which is a field of the creation. An interaction with the environment of itself, where it was created, where it was released, creates dimension of interaction. There's something very interesting that knowledge seekers or some researchers in the future will do, is that what happens if we create a vacuum, total vacuum, and release a cosmic ray at the energy of the hydrogen? Would it go through, or would it, in dimension of interaction, as there's nothing to interact with, turns back on itself to interact with itself to create its environment? And the answer is that, yes. And in that position, it changes the material condition and radiation condition, or what we call field dimension of energy. If you understand this, then you can do a lot of games. And you can do, people think it's magic or cannot be, because it doesn't apply to the matter state of physics. It applies to the energy side of physics. And then you will understand how things work. In 2007, (2007, 2008, something in that region, I was invited to carry out some very advanced research in Belgium Nuclear Center. They wanted to test to see what I understand, or is it accidentally, coincidentally, we came across this. I think I mentioned this in other teachings, but it applies to what you're asking. The center is SCK, Belgium Nuclear Center, in Mol. And I was given time, certain times, to go to carry out tests with the nuclear physicists of the Belgium Nuclear Center. They couldn't understand something, but I could see the shake and the shivers this brought to them, that how with the new technology can produce radiation which can lead to creation of other things. What they did, they emptied, total vacuumed a glass container. I think it's about 1 meter by meter cube. It's 1 meter cube, huge, very thick glasses. And we introduced nothing except the materials, which was non-radioactive. And with it, because of the withdrawal of the field, we created radiation. And this frightened the nuclear scientist, that nuclear radiation, nuclear material can be created without the nuclear material. And what about if the nuclear material gets to this point? This test was so fundamental, if you understand the application of it, military-wise and scientific-wise, that SDK issued an immediate, what we call instruction, that no material can be moved from one lab to another. which means you cannot transfer new materials which they can become nuclear in the other room, unless it's a normal whatever it is that they had in their mind. So I produced from a normal material a condition that it created a radiation at a very high level, gamma rays and plus. And they realized the change in technology, the change in the knowledge that we don't need to have the matter to do. We can create a condition that the matter, fields, all work together to create that condition. And then it comes to, if you understand this, it comes to a very fundamental point that where does the best ray come from? Where out of nowhere, we led to the creation of a matter where there was nothing. But as I said to the nuclear scientists in Belgium, you are nothing. And out of the energy makes your physicality. Why this is amazing to you? Your body, your own creation, comes out of fields. And in changes in the strength of fields makes your skin, your bone, and the rest of it. And when you see it in physicality, in reality, in the box, then it shakes you. This is what comes. Where did the first ray comes? I create material out of nothing, fields. But these fields, are they hydrogen? Yes, of course they are. All in essence are hydrogen. But are they radiation of the hydrogen? Are they plasma of the hydrogen? Are they fields of the hydrogen? Or a plasma which we call hydrogen, which is in a specific gravitational magnetic field strength. In the very near future, very, very near future, we bring the elite scientists of the world to do this. We literally will bring the most intelligent scientists of the world in one arena. And to let them loose, to explore the knowledge of creation, and then with it, understand the new science, to be literally brought into the hand of every man, then we don't have the dilemmas of today. Once this elite group of 200 scientists come together, set up this scene, and then understand and work collectively, Silicon Valley will be nothing compared to what is to come. Freedom of knowledge without prejudice of physicality is the biggest gain that the world of science will gain in the coming time. And then the question will come, one of the biggest question comes, can we identify the field of strength of the source, what we call the creator? And the strangest thing is, you'll see it'll come back to us. We'll send the message out. We send the, what they call the tester out, but we will feel that tester within our soul. That we understand we are part of. But where does the original come from and how it led to, you see it in the womb of the mother, 2 cells becomes the body of the man, and nobody asks it, oh, it's 1 divided to 4 divided. But how does it divide? It receives, it divides energy of itself, it feeds from the creation of its own central gravity. The soul of the man is that black hole, which means it has the collection of all the fields of the universe, even the creator. In the pictures I showed this earlier on, one of those bright dots is the connection to the light, to the soul of the Creator. It's there, I'm here, but you're still blind to see. But which dot is the one connected to the Creator, comes from origin. Mankind will answer these questions very soon. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Moshfek has a hand up here, and would you please go ahead, Moshfek?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Keshe, and hello, everybody.
It's
So
very
my
strange. I
question,
was thinking of you yesterday.
yes, I think there is communication can happen. I am
No,
also getting this kind of thing.
I went to eat with some people, and the restaurant was called Bangladesh. That's how I said.
A restaurant called Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I thought,
here I'm trying to give up food, and restaurants popping up somewhere else.
for being apparently it's very famous.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Tell
Okay.
me.
So this question is about this diagram. So there are, in between, from the top to the bottom, there are three distinct places, three distinct energy levels from where there are clusters of energy that seems to be flowing to the physicality. So can you go into a little bit of detail about what these three clusters, one at the level of solar physicality and the two others are above them, how they are operating and what their functions are? I would like to know a little bit about that.
We see the way we can interpret this. It's very easy in a way. Look at the density of the light from the top to the bottom. This is how the energy is fed from the soul to the physicalities. What we keep on saying, the time will come that when we feed the soul, we feed the physicality. As energy, we can feed the soul. We can't take a banana to the soul. We give it the energy. You see the brightness of it. It's very easy. I have to find a system which this picture is coming out of. You don't know how many systems I have in front of me. So I have to find the right system which this picture is coming out of. Okay, now we are there. Look. You see the intensity here? It becomes less. It becomes less. It becomes less. So we receive energy, and in different states of the strength, it manifests itself in that position. This is the soul of physicality. You call it the spirit. This is the what we call more or less the physicality of the man. Here, you see it. Actually, if you look at it very closely, it's very funny. This one sometimes makes me laugh, but I'll show you something. Close it. Here, if you look, going my things, it's like a foot, and we see this quite often. It's very interesting, very, very interesting. If you look at it, it's like this. We see this quite often. I put it to you a different way. Now I understand. It's very important. Depends how you look at it, and what you understand of it. This is the soul of the man. This is your heart and lung. This is your stomach. This is your testicles, and this is your physicality. Isn't this what you call chakras, you lot? Our objective of today has been to create a condition and see how you lot react to this condition. That we're just feeding the soul in a specific way we know. And we are monitoring that how the soul is fed and how it goes and how it will bring itself to itself. This is a, I show you another picture, it's just I'm getting pictures of the pictures. How you lot are getting energized beyond your own imagination. The separation fed by the soul of the man. This is the latest in the arsenal of information you lot getting. Watch. Sure. Look at your dimension of the soul and the physicality. If we manage in our structure to get this more in one line continuously, you all shall be fed by your soul. You don't need to. This is part of the emotion. One panics, the whole herd runs. Look at this. This is what I call in these graphs the panic attack. And then all settle down. Oh, it was nothing. This is how, as a lot, we feed. And the more and more we get, the more issue. When you see the first years or first weeks and months when we started doing this, what a commotion we had. Everything was everywhere. If I dig the pictures out, as you knowledge seekers getting used to becoming more, we see less and less of these kind of behaviors when collectively we are here to add knowledge. Those of you who are thick for backgrounds, you'll have that problem all the time. Look at this one. This is an amazing picture if you understand what goes on in the background of it. Look at the soul. And then look at the behavior of the soul. Building up. And if you carry on with this, which is the next picture we have, this is your life. So, energy, central energy is feeding the body of the mind. And it's amazing how technology development is teaching us, enlightening us. So what is the connection to the Creator? Which line is the connection? It all comes to who we understand more and more. And it just needs one of you to panic and the rest switch off through the dimension of the soul. And then it's getting it back up. It's another commotion for a bit. To one of you, all of you settle down and you start getting the trip. Any other question?
So the today's sensation is a bit different for me because I'm used to kind of feeding myself a bit. I've been successful to a degree, and today in the meeting, what I'm feeling is that it's not just concentrated in one part of the body. It's kind of very diffused all over my physical body. So this is one of the things that is very distinctly different in today's meeting experience. And so that was my feeling. So
that we were set up to do that. It's very nice if you're telling us. The
yeah,
setting today is especially for that.
Yeah, and especially I was a little bit disturbed because it was in the kind of like genital organs and the heart, those two areas.
Yeah.
It was a little too, I mean, it's too clear. I mean, so I was not quite, prepared for it. Let's say, say it that way.
Today, we have never tested this. It's the first time we've done. And in a more extensive way, tomorrow, this will be carried out in a much, much deeper way. Because it comes to the point, if this sensation becomes satisfaction, I have to have no fear of, I can take off. In a way, we are feeding the soul of physicality and physicality to the strength that I showed you before. And if it homogenizes, the man will most probably go through a full transmutation. Because in all dimensions, you are energy. Any other question? I hope you enjoyed this trip.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. That's all I had.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a couple of questions in the Q&A. Doug is asking, in the Cosmic Mystery Pack we received were 2 dried ganses. One was CO2 and one was zinc oxide. What is the best use for them to benefit our community locally or more extensively?
These are effective. It depends how you use them, and they are made for specific reasons. Hundreds of kilos of this was produced, and we keep it in reserve for different application. But if you spread this around, because the amount you have is not much, even in the house, mix them and put them in the liquid water and see how the whole house physicality changes. You can use them as a mixture and then add a little bit sea salt. Nothing else, just sea salt, just a few drops. Mix it with the mixture you receive. And then you see what changes in the house. Put them in different positions. What feeling changes in the house? If anybody sick feels any different. We put one of these bottles, each one zinc, one CO2, 2 years ago in the conference in London, on the table for every person to take. But nobody asked question, what can I do with this? Now you know it's one of the parts of it, what you can do. I can tell you you can do unbelievable things with this combination. Some of the things you can add to it. Any other question? Mr. Crumman.
Ready for another question? Okay, from Andreas. in German translates to, is there any update regarding the Keshe Foundation products that will soon be available in pharmacies?
It's there. You have to take your knowledge seekers, take it to your pharmacy and do it. We have a certificate in Europe, in Austria, that is applied to the rest of the Europe as a material, yes. People, you take it, I don't know what the progress is. But if you have a pharmacy, you go to them and says, can you order? Tell them where they can get it from, and then they add to the range. Ask your doctor, this is the product. It's part of what it does, and they do. Because these now for pharmaceuticals is packed in a specific way to be on the shelves in the pharmacies.
Okay, we have a question from the Chinese knowledge seekers on another product. They are asking, someone would like to ask about carbon-14. How can we produce a small amount of carbon-14 in our regular daily operations? It would be wonderful if people could try to do it. I don't know if this is possible. Thank you.
We produce it extensively. We have developed technology for it. But carbon-14 is not usable in the matter condition.
So it's not something useful for folks at home, basically?
Not really. But if you know what to do with it, yes.
Okay, we'll leave that up in the air a little bit there.
There's a lot of people claiming selling carbon-14 and the rest of it. But we are not interested in carbon-14 as the matter of state. We're interested in carbon-14 as an energy state, which is totally different behavior, but you have to know what to do with it. Any question? What's the next question?
From Roseanne in our Q&A, who says, hello, Mr. Keshe. I wonder how in our dreams we see the ones that passed away in their physicality happy and young while they left their bodies in the energy form. Could you please explain how that happens?
You're dealing with the energy, dealing with the soul, not with the physicality. And then it refers back to what you like to see them as, more or less, as an emotion. You convert the emotion to image as it passes the layers of the brain of the man. In a way, you hear a sound, to you it's just a sound, but different tone of the sound gives you, if it's an ambulance, if it's a police, if it's a dog. Our brain, when it interacts with the, what they call the fields of connection between the soul and another soul, as they convey information or whatever, creates an imprint on the physical side image of man, and we call it a dream. And you can't control it.
Okay, speaking of controlling things, Jefferson Modesto from Brazil has a question. If we can create matter and form, we can create animate and non-animate beings, and we can create structures impossible to create with current technologies. My question is, was this how the Egyptian pyramids and other metallurgical structures were built? Thank you very much.
I don't know, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Was I there? I don't know. Sorry, I'm just read the message here. It says tomorrow's session is at 9 a.m. Central European time. Yes. for those of you who are in Paris, London, wherever. Yes. Shall we call it a day if you have run out of questions?
I think we may have run out of questions here. I'm searching. Yeah.
Silence says a lot.
Okay, yeah, that seems to be complete.
Shall we call it a day?
Sure.
Thank you very much for being here. Please join us 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. It'll be an experience again, added to the other experiences. And then we go through the process of the next step. And please support us. We need to get as many units out in public in the next 6 months, that once we come up, it cannot be hacked. But we need at least 2,000 units to get to that point. And we need much more. You can donate it to the others, because you bought one, you don't want another one. We know where it can go. We can even know how to benefit the foundation from the use. Thank you very much. And see you next week. And see most probably some of you tomorrow in the session.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. Okay, we have one final thing that's come in from Lissy about the Universal Council. The Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal family in unifying at the soul level every time and every day at 9 p.m. Central European Time to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve the permanent and lasting peace. Thank you for that. Okay, let me make our final say here. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for today's 605th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Thanks to everybody for attending today's workshop, and we should be back again next week at the same general time and place, probably back at the 9 a.m. Central European Time starting time, but we will see at that point whether there'll be a time change and let people know as we did this week. You see our next public teaching workshop. Let me get up my calendar here. We will be into September already, and September 2nd will be the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace with members of the Universal Council, and that show begins at the 4 p.m. Central European Time, and at the same Zoom number. Okay, I think that is it, and we'll end with our usual musical ending. And again, thank you everyone for attending. Bye for now.